Hi, friends. Today, I would like to talk about a topic that is of interest to me, which is the economic miracle of America and how that is kind of being sought after by all the other countries. It's kind of a one size fits all approach, and why that is not working and not going to work uh, for the upcoming countries which are going up the development ladder. So I think there's been UN resolution or a UN uh, kind of direction where one of the one of the bodies of UN had come out with this uh, direction saying that one size doesn't fit all, one size fit all approach will not work. And so what we have seen is like everybody trying to copy the US and trying to fit their economic models to that of the US. So US grew at a particular time and at a particular situation after the world wars and stuff, and it had a particular scenario around the world, and it worked for them to grow in a particular way. uh, China again grew in the last 20 30 years. It grew tremendously, but now it followed probably a model that was pursued by the West, and now it's kind of reached the peak, and the growth is slowing down. And now you see news coming out. I was just seeing the FT article which is saying the end of the Chinese miracle, and then it's talking about how China has created vast cities, and the demographic dividend and everything that they got from these massive urban conglomerations is now waning off. The same with India. So that's the one of the key things that I think about, or what I seeing the various economic paradigms I understand is that the urban conglomerations or urban conglomerates where you try to push a lot of the rural population into a urban populace and cities basically, and then try to grow the cities. That model is just is not a viable model, and is not a good model for real development of people. It's probably going to, and it made some difference, of course, in all these countries, but now they're going to hit other issues. And why on earth do we actually go through that route? Why do we need uh, you know massive populations to just go into one tiny place, right? So if there is a Mumbai, if there is a Hyderabad, if there is a Bangalore, you want all these populations from all the rural regions to go into these massive cities and then clog the cities. And they people who are having wonderful lifestyles, wonderful life, probably if only they were supported in terms of having their lifestyle. I mean, their lifestyle or the economic paradigm of their lifestyle was supported to an extent, they wouldn't have to move into urban slums. So somebody like a farmer in a village who had a plot of land, who did not have access to capital, and whatever the other reasons, because of debt or something, is moved to the city and lives in a slum with no access to water, with no access to pure air, with no access to good food. But he, as long if he was in his home village, he would have had a proper a small piece of land. He could have done his agriculture, breathed fresh air. He would have been living a quality life. The only thing is the money. He just needed very little bit of money to have a decent living in his village. But now he's been pushed to move into the cities, the urban conglomerations, and become a kind of a rickshaw puller, or a cab driver, or some kind of a lowest menial job, and then support his family or himself, and then live in a slum and be just lose his quality of life. Why can't the same benefits of as long as he's supported by a few dollars or a few rupees, right? He could have stayed in his village. I mean, as long as his economic model. So if he was producing a bit of paddy, it was bought at a price where his lifestyle or his basic life was sustainable. He wouldn't have had to come to the city to just become a kind of nothing. So that's what you say in the US, like, you see the entire country is developed. It's not like, there are only pockets of cities which are developed, but the entire villages, the countryside, you have houses, you have proper houses, you have proper water, you have proper facilities, internet, and all the accesses that you have in the city. So you could go down to a rural place in the city and in the country and live. And that's another problem, that see that people want to just live in the city and be poor, but they're not willing to go away from the city and try to build an economic model for themselves to sustain. So the social pressures or whatever are being created in such a way that they come into the city to get a job or something to survive. Whereas if they were not removed from their places, and their life basic needs were sustainable, made sustainable, they wouldn't need to come all the way and then just be leading a poor life, uh, impoverishing themselves and as well as their families, and then the whole generation which comes after that, coming into a model of poverty, and then poverty being making more people poor. I mean, poverty just causing other issues, health and other issues, right? So social menace, because their mindset, like people who are poor in the slums, in the city, you see the urban buildings, giant buildings with ultra modern cars and all these facilities. Just beside that, they are living in a shanty, and then they see all this difference, and it's not sustainable. So my advocacy is for people to be made people's lifestyle or be made sustainable as to where they live. So if there are some handicraft artisans, they don't need to come to the city. They can be in their place, but their goods are taken by the internet. I mean, you sold on the internet and they make their money, and they lead a sustainable lifestyle there. Crops also are made sustainable so that farmer farmers are at a very distressed state. I see articles in Australia now which talk about huge distress. The 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 kind of the premier of Victoria, which is equivalent to the chief minister of the state, uh, is talking about 600 deaths due to agricultural uh, due to agricultural uh, uh, people in basically of people in agriculture distress, agricultural distress rather. So you see all their lifestyle is being made compromised, and they're not allowed to lead their life to a proper way. People, large cattle farm owners, large agriculture people are being made to die or to move into the cities, becoming poor people and all sorts of things. I mean, this is not a sustainable. In a country like Australia, if it's happening, it has already happened in countries like China and India. Chinese, they're talking about 88 cities the sizes of London, right? 88 cities which are bigger or equal to the size of London as per the FT article. So this is not the way. You need people to be spread out across the geography and their lives sustainable across the countries, all countries. They don't need to get uprooted and going into the cities, becoming low living, low quality, with a low quality lifestyle, and then leading to other social distress and other things. So this is the thing which we need to emphasize, that people being in their whole own landscapes and then becoming sustainable. So to that end, if governments, organizations, companies, everybody look at that perspective of not uprooting people from their origins, but making them sustainable at their origins, or sourcing from people in the rural regions and other things, it will be a really wonderful achievement for the whole humanity. So, hope this small message from me would help the cause. Thank you, guys. Subscribe to my channel. Anant Nag. Cheers. Bye.